thousands of videos and audio recordings of what people believe are real demons and ghosts are uploaded to the internet each year. Most of these recordings are either fake or can be explained one way or another, but there are a few videos and audio recordings out there that cannot be explained, and many people believe them to be real. The Triangle Field Ghosts. During the American Civil War in 1863, a bloody battle took place at the Triangle Field, which is located in Gettysburg. Tens of thousands of Civil War soldiers were either killed or injured during the battle, and it is now said to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States. In November 2001, Delia and Tom Underwood was visiting the Triangle Field, and they were able to capture one of the most compelling ghost footage ever to be recorded. In the video, you see what looks like Civil War soldiers walking around in the forest.
There's nothing sparkling. You see what I'm saying?
What's that? What is that?
Tree.
No. You moved it, right? Right there. See it?
Uh-huh.
Look.
There's nobody there. I can't see.
Look. Isn't it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody
Not up in the
there.
trees.
The Connecticut Poltergeist. There aren't that much information about the following case, and the family members' identities are protected. So if you have any more information about this specific case, please let me know in the comments below. The following video was recorded by Ed and Lorraine Warren during one of their investigations. A family in Connecticut were being tormented by a poltergeist. In the video, you see how the family's 10-year-old daughter are trying to do her homework, while the poltergeist are trying to slide her chair backwards. In the next clip, you see Ed and Lorraine Warren, along with the family, when they are trying to contact the poltergeist, by asking questions and telling it to knock 1 time for yes, and knock 2 times for no.
1 knock for yes, 2 for no. Are you a man? Are you a boy?
Ed asks the poltergeist which family member it dislikes the most. At first, everything is quiet, but when Ed asks if it is the mother that it doesn't like, 1 knock can be heard.
Is it their mother?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Ed then tries to confront the poltergeist on his own and commands it to reveal its identity. Nothing happens until Ed tells it to give him a sign, and 2 chairs can then be seen moving. When Ed then commands the poltergeist to reveal its identity, the table moves.
I command you to reveal your identity.
An exorcism was later performed by 3 priests in the house, and the poltergeist disappeared. Maurice Theriault. When Maurice was just a child, his father confessed to his wife that he and Maurice were both possessed before killing her and taking his own life. Maurice would later grow up to become a farmer in a small town located in Massachusetts. He lived with his family that consisted of his wife and 2 children and was known by the locals as Frenchie. In the spring of 1985, the locals began to notice some unusual behavior from Maurice and at his house. Maurice turned in his gun to the sheriff and told him not to give it back. Blood would randomly appear on Maurice and throughout the house. Maurice and his family also claimed to hear unknown voices in the house. Ed and Lorraine Warren was later contacted, and they later arrived to the house. The Warrens felt an evil presence in the house, and they experienced many different paranormal activities, such as horrifying screams, child whispers, and physical attacks. The Warrens concluded that this was not a normal haunting, but that Maurice was possessed. The Warrens called Bishop Robert McKenna and asked him to do an exorcism. Robert agreed on performing an exorcism, and he later arrived to the house. The Warrens recorded the exorcism, and I was able to find some of the footage that has been released. In the video, you see how Marie's skin appears to bubble and a deep crack appears on his forehead. It is also said that blood appeared in Marie's eyes and that his eyes at one point appeared serpent-like. The demon identified itself as I am what I am. You say I am proud. Marie's eyes eventually rolled back and the exorcism was thought to be successful. But 1 year later, Marie shot his wife with his shotgun, and he made her watch as he took his own life. His wife later told the Warrens that before Maurice shot himself, it looked like he was fighting with someone to gain control over the shotgun. This makes many to believe that the demon had returned and possessed Maurice once again, but this time the demon came to finish the job. The Enfield Poltergeist. Peggy Hodson and her 4 children lived in their home in Enfield, which is located in Britain. In August 1977, Peggy called the police after 2 of her children claimed that they heard knocking sounds and that furniture moved by itself. A police arrived at the house and he claims to have seen a chair slide on the floor by itself and that he could hear demonic voices. Not long after, British newspaper began to cover the story. 2 journalists named Graham Morris and Douglas Bench later arrived to the house to conduct an interview with the family and try to capture any paranormal activities on photograph. After 1 hour, nothing had happened, but just as they prepared to leave the house, objects began to fly around the room, crashing into walls and people. 2 paranormal researchers named Maurice Grues and Guy Lyon Playfair later contacted Peggy, asking to be allowed to investigate the paranormal activities. Peggy gave her permission to the 2 paranormal researchers. The 2 paranormal researchers, with the help of a photographer for the Daily Mirror, set up a camera in the girl's bedroom that would take a photograph every 4 seconds whenever it was activated. The camera was able to capture a series of photographs of one of the children, named Janet, being pulled out of her bed. Janet would later begin to speak in a very deep voice, and during an interview she claimed that the voice came from an old man named Bill that had died on the 1st floor.
How many voices are there?
600.
600 voices.
I know the joke.
How many really are there, Margaret?
I think so far we've had 10
Three.
sensible voices, but the rest of the names are absolute rubbish.
A man named Terry Wilkins later contacted Morris and told him that his father named Bill had lived in the house before the Hodson family and that he had died in a chair on the 1st floor. Many other paranormal researchers have investigated the case. Some believe it to just be a hoax and some believe it to be real. 2 paranormal researchers that believe that the Enfield Poltergeist is real is Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren visited the family several times, and Ed Warren claimed that Janet one time began to levitate in midair while asleep. The Warrens believed that the children were the subjects of demonic possession. The Enfield Poltergeist is one of the most documented poltergeist cases in the world. The Enfield Poltergeist is also the inspiration for the new horror movie called The Conjuring 2, featuring Ed and Lorraine Warren. Anneliese Michel. Anneliese Michel was born on the 21st of September 1952 and was like any other girl at the time, but that would later change. In 1968, Anneliese began to shake uncontrollably and was later diagnosed with epilepsy. After the epilepsy attack, Anneliese became very depressed and was admitted for treatment at the hospital. Not long after, Anneliese began to see demonic faces while praying. Later in 1974, the demonic faces was still haunting Anneliese, and she could now also hear sinister whispers saying things like, "Anneliese will stew in hell." The doctors couldn't help, and the medicine didn't work, so Anneliese's family now thought that Anneliese was possessed, and he contacted the church asking them to do an exorcism. The church rejected the family's request, so they turned to Pastor Ernst Alt, and he too asked for permission to perform an exorcism on Anneliese. But just like the first time, the church rejected his request, and they told him that Anneliese had to live an even more of a religious lifestyle in order to find peace. Over time, Anneliese's behavior became more violent. She attacked her family members, biting and hitting them. She refused to eat normal food, saying that the demons would not allow it. The only thing she ate was insects, like spiders and flies, and she even began to drink her own urine. Anneliese was also known to scream for hours on end while destroying paintings of Jesus and crucifix. Later in 1975, Pastor Ernst Alt and Father Arnold Rensch finally got permission from the church to perform the exorcism on Anneliese. Arnold and Ernst concluded that Anneliese was possessed by several demons. Some of the more known demons that Anneliese was possessed by was Judas, Hitler, and even Lucifer himself. Arnold and Ernst would perform 1 or 2 exorcisms each week. During the exorcism, Anneliese would sometimes become so violent that 3 men had to hold her down in order to be able to perform the exorcism. During the exorcism, Arnold and Ernst recorded over 40 audio tapes to document the case, and the following audio is recorded from one of the exorcisms.
Das muss gefegt werden! Warum? Und den Kirchen.
Wenn es einen Weg gäbe.
Gibt's nicht zurück, von uns kommt niemand zurück.
The exorcism seemed to work, and Anneliese began to return to normal, and she was able to go back to school. Even though she was able to go back to school, the demonic faces and attacks did not stop entirely. Arnold and Ernst still performed 1 or 2 exorcisms each week for several months. Anneliese's violent and uncontrollable behavior later returned, and this time it wouldn't go away. On June the 30th, 1976, the last exorcism was performed, and Anneliese would unfortunately die the following day. Her last words to her mother was,
"Mother, I am afraid."
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button to support my channel and subscribe for more videos. And if you want to support me even more, then can you head over to my Patreon page and donate as much as you want. Take care, and I will see you in my next video.